Avatar is the greatest show of all time. No, not that one. Definitely not that one. I mean Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar being added to Netflix was one of the greatest things to happen during the pandemic. I didn't have access to Nickelodeon when I was younger, so I never got to grow up alongside this masterpiece. So watching it for the first time a couple of years ago, and again a few months back, has really restored my health, filled up my bank accounts, cleared my skin. Everything has just been thriving. And if you think it's lame for a 22-year-old to be making a video essay on how Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best animated series ever to come out to date, then this is not a video for you, and your negative energy is not wanted here. But for those of you who are familiar with the cinematic masterpiece that is Avatar: The Last Airbender, you would know that it's not just a simple kids show. In fact, it deals with a range of moral issues that are still very much present in today's society, demonstrated across several episodes and the interactions between characters. One of my favorite characters in the show is Zuko. And this isn't because he would have been the man of my dreams when I was 13 years old, but because of his character development within the show. Specifically, him taking accountability for his actions towards the end of the series. So this video will explore what Zuko can teach all of us about accountability. Zuko's redemption arc is by far my favorite. A redemption arc is a storytelling device where a character who is evil and destructive, or who demonstrates evil, destructive traits, atones for their flaws and overcomes them, transforming from a villain to an anti-hero and then ultimately a hero. So, who is Zuko? Zuko is a firebending master and the prince of the Fire Nation royal family, who was originally the primary enemy of Team Avatar, which consists of Aang, the Avatar, Katara, Sokka, Toph, Momo, and Appa. After being burned and banished by his abusive father, he would do anything and everything to capture Aang in order to gain his honor back. And he made sure we wouldn't forget it.
Because their honor didn't hinge on the Avatar's capture. Mine does. Once I deliver the Avatar to my father, he will welcome me home with honor. My honor. I want my honor. My honor. 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 Honor!
Zuko did some pretty shitty things along the way before he eventually saw the light. Such as, but not limited to, relentlessly chasing Team Avatar, stealing Katara's necklace that her dead mom gave her, using said necklace to track down Team Avatar, hiring a bounty hunter to track down the team to kill them, hiring a firebending assassin to kill Aang, etc, 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 etc. However, after realizing that the Fire Nation has been the source of a lot of his pain and suffering, Zuko sees the errors of his ways, and finally switches to the good side by choosing to help Aang master firebending in order to defeat his father and to finally end the 100-Year War. However, when Zuko turned up to the Western Air Temple to pledge his loyalty to Aang,
Hello, Zuko here.
Team Avatar did not just welcome him with open arms.
There's no way we can trust you after everything you've done. We'll never let you join us.
They were angry, and rightfully so, because Zuko was responsible for causing them so much pain and trauma. So in order to be accepted into the group, Zuko did 3 important things to gain their trust back, which also made his redemption arc so believable and successful. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word apology to be a regretful acknowledgement of an offense or failure. An apology is just the first step that needs to be taken when you hurt someone. As I mentioned earlier, Zuko apologized to Team Avatar, pledging his life to help Aang achieve his mission.
I'm sorry for what I did to you. It was an accident. Fire can be dangerous and wild. So as a firebender, I need to be more careful and control my bending, so I don't hurt people unintentionally.
But they clearly did not believe him given his very, very problematic track record. It's so easy to say sorry, and anyone can say it and not mean it.
You might have everyone else here buying your transformation, but you and I both know you've struggled with doing the right thing in the past.
Apologizing is just the start when it comes to taking accountability. The word sorry doesn't mean anything unless it's followed by action, which brings me to my next point. Zuko puts action behind his apology by following up on his promise to teach Aang firebending in the episode Firebending Masters. Or at least he attempts to. Zuko's firebending was once powered by his anger and desire to capture the Avatar. However, after confronting his own demons, he was unable to bend because he was no longer powered by rage. It would have been so easy for Zuko to wallow in his inability to firebend and just give up altogether, but he doesn't do that. In fact, he sets out on a journey with Aang to learn the history and the true meaning of firebending. In other words, Zuko did not just give up when things got tough.
We could turn back now. We've already learned more about fire than we'd hoped.
No, we're seeing this through to the end.
He was determined to keep his promise to Aang and even put himself in the way of danger. And Zuko did not just stop there. He wanted to make sure he made amends with other members that he hurt in the gang, especially Katara and Sokka, in the episodes The Southern Raiders and Part 1 and 2 of The Boiling Rock. Again, Zuko showed his willingness to put himself in danger to protect his friend after helping break out Sokka's dad from a Fire Nation prison. And with Katara, Zuko aided her in a mission to track down the man who killed her mother. This is by far my favorite episode because you can fully see how much Zuko has changed. He not only helps Katara deal with emotional scars from her past, but he also demonstrates how important it is to not act out in anger, something that he used to do frequently in the first 2 seasons of the show. The episodes I just mentioned involves Zuko going behind Fire Nation lines and fighting against his own people, further proving his commitment to Team Avatar. So now, we know that Zuko apologized and has put action behind his words. However, there's still one more thing that he does that makes his redemption arc so successful. Personally, I think this might have been the hardest thing for him to do. Zuko is the prince of the Fire Nation royal family, so he's been living pretty lavish. The Fire Nation has a vast amount of wealth, influence, and power. Even when he was banished by his father to find the Avatar, Zuko had his own army who served his every request. And as we know in our current society, those who have access to privilege and have the upper hand in life usually want to keep it that way. So Zuko deciding to break free from the Fire Nation and his connection to royalty to help the Avatar demonstrates his full commitment to changing for the better. However, cutting ties with people who enabled problematic behavior is not easy, especially if it's your family who are the enablers. Underneath the rage and the hatred Zuko has experienced throughout his life, he was still a kid who was abandoned by his father. All he ever wanted was to restore his honor and win his father's approval. In the final episode of Season 2, called The Crossroads of Destiny, his youngest was a siren call that he could not resist. So he decided to betray Team Avatar, everything that Zuko went through with his father. So following this betrayal, Zuko went back home and got exactly what he wanted. He was treated like the prince he was. He had a great relationship, and he was finally being respected.
So, my dad wants me at the meeting?
The Fire Lord said he would not start until you arrive, sir.
He was the perfect prince, but deep down, he knew he was never destined to be the perfect prince. Being the perfect prince was completely at odds with everything he went through. Through the advice and guidance of his uncle Iroh and the many experiences he endured on his journey to find the Avatar, Zuko ultimately changed, which is why he couldn't be the prince he was supposed to be. During the moments in the solar eclipse, Zuko confronts his father and accuses him of committing several heinous crimes. However, he also owns up to his own mistakes and the hand that he also played in destructing the lives of those who weren't part of the Fire Nation. This scene provides another instance where Zuko's growth can clearly be seen. When his father, Fire Lord Ozai, taunts him and says that he's gotten weak like his uncle, instead of lashing out, something that he would have done in the earlier seasons, Zuko just responds calmly.
Your uncle has gotten to you, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Instead of letting his son go in peace, his father tries to kill him with lightning. Someone needs to call CPS on this man. And just like that, Zuko leaves. He breaks all connection with his father and everything that he stands for. He gave up his wealth and riches that came with being a prince. Zuko leaving everything he once knew behind and embarking on a new journey is very scary. He has no family, no friends, no guidance because his uncle was locked up. But again, Zuko was determined in making things right. So after finding the Avatar, making amends, and teaching him how to firebend, Zuko finally gained the trust of everyone in the group. So what can we take home from Zuko's lesson? Well, first, an apology is just words. And if you're really sorry and actually want to show active change, you need to put action behind your words. What's hard is actually separating yourself from the systems and the people that will enable some problematic behavior. Through the exploration of Zuko's redemption arc, I hope I was able to show some of you guys what we can do in our current relationships and our future ones in order to make them better. By no means am I saying that any of this is easy. I mean, one look at Zuko's journey and you know that it took him years to realize his wrongdoings. Although some may categorize Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid's show, to me, it really taught me this valuable lesson on accountability.